Welcome back to the news at 10. Reprieve may finally be underway for residents of Adewumi Street in Mariga in Lagos, southwest Nigeria, who are forcefully evicted following an intervention from the state governor, Mr. Babatunde Fashola. The governor has deployed the state solicitor general, Mr. Lawal Pedro, the CEO of LASEMA, Mr. Oluwafemi Osanyitolu, the director, Office of the Public Defender, Mrs. Omotola Rotimi, and the Commissioner for Special Duties, Mr. Wale Ahmed, to investigate the incident. Our community report tonight chronicles the events leading to this latest state intervention.
This is Ladilak Bariga, a suburb in the eye of the storm, for more reasons than one. 4 houses on Adewumi Street were purportedly sold without the consent of the house owners and leading to a forceful eviction of over 100 families.
They did not allow our children to go anywhere. They wake us up and they beat us. We lost many things in this compound today. We lost everything. When they called the policemen did not work very well, and they called the OP men, sir.
That action has provoked no less a person than the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, who has asked senior relevant officers to get to the scene and get back to him. So for starters, what exactly are they looking out for?
We are here basically on the instruction of the governor to come and see what actually happened. Was there even a genuine court judgment? If there was, then in trying to carry out the order of the court, what processes were taken, and how can we address the displacement that has been a result of that action?
Problem started in this community when some security operatives and court sheriffs stormed 4 houses on Adewumi Street, ordering the tenants out, claiming they were no longer legitimate occupants, courtesy of a court judgment which has since been controverted by the victims.
It has happened before. This is not the first time the information I gather, and this is the only one woman they have mentioned in that suit. The name is Madam Oluwatoyin Ali. He is the one that claimed he has possessed this place. He said from the court have been cut through, he has paid. They want to know. What we want to know is the name bearing Mr.
Oluwatoyin.
Mr. Sakios claimed that he's the one that has the owner of the property. So that is what we are saying. But with the president of the government, Lagos State government, now we are very happy. We know that something positive is going to come out of this. So we are happy. Once again, I want to thank you, the Channels Television, for your quick response to this action.
We have relief camps in Lagos, and they are like cities on their own, and we can take care of them, house them in comfortable situations, feed them, and provide succor generally. And that's one of the reasons why he is here. There will be prosecution if some people went behind and in the process even caused displacement, dislocation, and made other Lagosians unhappy. Definitely we will do that.
Mrs. Sani, a victim, appears grateful for the timely intervention. A lot looks more calmer and serene here on Adewumi Street after the news broke earlier in the week that over 100 families were forcefully ejected. Now the Lagos State government has stepped in, and they're saying that if anyone is found wanting in this purported eviction, prosecution will happen, and that will also mean reprieve for members of these families that are affected on number 3, number 6, 7, and 15 of Adewumi Street. In Lagos, Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
After several unsuccessful attempts, the Akwa Ibom state government has finally succeeded in moving illegal model parks operators in Uyo, the state capital, to 4 modern parks built by the state government. The abandoned model parks are now bubbling over with life, as all roadside operators have now occupied the multi-million naira facilities.
This is the modern military park in the outskirts of the metropolis, now sheltering those moved from illegal military parks in Uyo. Laudable as the idea appears, these illegal parks returned weeks later, abandoning the beautifully built ones. But the parks are now fully operational as all illegal operators have now moved there, and it appears to be a permanent move. But how was this achieved? The State Commissioner for Transport, Prince Godwin Nukude, tells us more.
First of all, clear the places of such wild grasses. Conduct serious sanitation in the place. All the vandalized electrical and water systems, we had to restore them. And knowing that parks operate day and night, we had to install solar lights. And so that whether in the daytime or in the night, the place should wear the same look to be able to receive incoming vehicles and participants as they operate to load and take off.
But how does he hope to achieve this? This is how stakeholders such as Austin Everett, who is the president of the Long Distance Commercial Transport Association, sees it.
We all in the union agreed with him because he has done what Napoleon could not, transforming the state in terms of the road network, because there's no way you can operate a transport system, a perfect transport system, without a perfect road transport system, a road network system. And he has done it. And with that, we now say, okay, we must, and it is a must that we must do Islam and then get everybody back to the camp. And we have done it.
Except for a few reservations, the people are happy to embrace change.
And vehicles were, when they come in, they park anywhere and was causing a lot of hold up, or what would I call it. So it's okay that the state government have made this decision.
They should locate the park for us. Where? So anywhere that will be better for us.
Apart from easing traffic on all congested roads, Uyo has become more secure and beautiful.
The governor of Delta State, Dr. Emmanuel Odragan, says that his mission in 2014 is to see the completion of all outstanding projects in the state. He also will redesign the Delta Beyond Oil initiative such that more will be created for Deltans. Dr. Odragan gave his hint in an interactive session with journalists in Asaba. He says he is determined to make the state one of the cleanest states in the country by deploying a lot of manpower for urban sanitation of streets and drainages.
The waste recycling plant is one project the governor is giving priority to so as to make possible his dream of making Delta the cleanest state in the country. One sole point of this press briefing was the allegation that a council chairman accused the governor of trading with Shopee funds, an allegation he asked journalists to throw back at the council chairman. Addressing journalists later at a different venue, the spokesperson of the chairman, Dr. Chris Ekiyo, said the Shopee implementation in Delta remains the best in the country and wondered why anyone will wrongly accuse the governor of poor handling of funds.
Let us state practically, without fear or favor or any iota of doubt, that the subsidy and investment and empowerment program implementation in Delta State standard as the best in the country through the structured release of the Shopee funds and the government of the state towards specific targeted human capital development and empowerment programs initiated by the 25 LGAs in Delta State.
The team, however, urged everyone to stop rumor mongering to save the state from any negative drift.
Now, there are indications that the People's Democratic Party leadership may have begun shopping for a replacement for Alhaji Bamanga Tukur, who stepped down as the party's national chairman last week. At the moment, about 12 governors elected under the platform of the PDP are meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan at the presidential villa to present a common and acceptable candidate ahead of the PDP convention. The governors are those of Delta, Dr. Emmanuel Rahan, Ebonyi State, Martin Zelechi, Katsina State, Ibrahim Shema, Niger State, Muazu Aliyu, Benue State, Gabriel Suswam, Kogi State, Idris Wada, Kaduna State, Mukhtar Yaro, Bayelsa State, Seriaki Dixon, Kebbi State, Usman Dakingeri, Plateau State, Jonajang, Cross River, Leo Limoke, and Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio. Now, 15 branch chairmen of the Nigerian Bar Association in the Southwest met in Lagos yesterday to endorse and adopt Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Dele Adesina, as the Southwest flag bearer for the 2014 NBA presidential elections to be held in July this year. The chairmen met under the aegis of the Egbe Amofi, the Pan-Yoruba Lawyers Forum of the NBA. The Southwest Lawyers Forum has 23 branches. 10 of them were physically present at the meeting, while 5 others sent their vice chairman and secretaries to represent them. The interim chairman, Mr. Adebayo Ayodele, who is also the chairman of the Abeokuta branch, read out the communique at the end of the meeting. Now, Islamic leaders have once again urged the government to give more attention to education and unemployment to bring lasting solutions to the issue of terrorism in the country. The leaders who sought to raise over 2 billion naira to build more schools in 5 states expressed huge concern over the continuous attacks on human lives, especially in the north. Our correspondent, Gloria Umezoke, reports.
Disturbing reports emerge consistently of fresh attacks, especially in the north, in spite of the state of emergency announced by the government 9 months ago. Several terrorist attacks have destroyed thousands of families in the last couple of years, and as violence continues to tear through the north, Islamic leaders have risen up to tackle what they believe is the root cause: lack of education and joblessness.
Look, many of the people or many of our students, some of them, they finish the school, they have no work, they have no school, they have no... Jobless. Many of them, they are jobless. That is why we getting the more crisis in the country.
This Islamic scholar, like many others here in full support of this cause, have not only raised alarm over the menace, but are working to raise 2 billion naira to establish 5 schools across the country to save millions of youths who can be used to advance violence and terrorism in the country.
Our leaders have preached for peace in this country, for peace and unity, and to upgrade the education. Most of the security breaches that is coming into this country is lack of education, that is illiteracy.
This confrontation by members of the Boko Haram sect, which has continued to claim lives, has led to more and more deployment of security operatives in the 3 states worst hit by the insurgency. But some of the leaders insist the challenge of unemployment remains a major risk.
If the government helping those, many of these peoples and these boys, they have a work, how they going to fight? How they going to do something, terrorists or something like that?
The security debate has understandably often focused on the consequences, but these Islamic leaders are convinced that the nation should continue to think of education as a means of solving security issues. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And now to the arts. Having Traveled Far is a group exhibition at the Amenka Gallery in Lagos. 5 internationally renowned African artists show that they have not lost touch with their roots, which is reflected in their paintings. On Art Review tonight, we'll take a look at this exhibition at the Amenka Gallery.
When you get tired of hearing your own name, then we'll change our story. Gilda, the ultimate.
They may not be the famous 5 from the adventure series, but they are famous in their own right and have brought adventures here for everyone to enjoy and probably learn a thing or two from.
It's an exhibition in collaboration with Artco, one of the leading galleries in Germany, representing contemporary African artists.
They're not here in the flesh to explain more about it. The curators in charge of the show tell us more about the works and the reason behind the exhibition, titled Having Traveled Far.
Some of the artists on the exhibition today are Owusu Nkoma, who's very well known internationally, Ransom Stanley, who's Nigerian, and Owusu is Ghanaian. Ransom Stanley is Nigerian, as I mentioned. Manela Sambo, the only female in the group, she's from Angola. There's also Godfrey Donko, who's a Ghanaian, extremely well known internationally, well exhibited in some of the most prestigious institutions in the world. And we also have Loco, he's from Togo. So it's a whole mix of international artists from Africa. Though they're based in Germany, they still maintain through their works very strong roots. So it's a very international show with well-respected contemporary artists. Some of the leading African artists practicing today. And the reason why we decided to have this exhibition is because we feel that most of our Nigerian artists want to go and show abroad internationally all the time. But it's about time that we begin to think that Lagos is also a creative hub and people should also want to come here to exhibit in Lagos. We've got very diverse techniques, very diverse themes and styles. We have a lot of very respectable collectors.
The works are done by some of the biggest names on the contemporary African art scene who've been living and working outside Africa, but remain true to their roots, which is reflected in their art.
If you look at the last 3-4 years, we've tried to bring African and international artists together. That way they will share artistic cultures, and then we'll have a cross-fertilization of artistic representation. So that is exactly the reason why Omeka is doing that. So art is an international thing. It's not restricted to a particular culture or locality. So everybody should share art. So whatever represents our artistic culture ought to be shared. And then we see how the international or foreign artistic culture rubs off on what we do. So the world at large promotes that sort of hybrid.
As individuals, their styles are as different as night and day.
Well, there are a lot of differences, maybe with themes. The themes of work. And Nigerian work is more Nigeria-centric. The themes are the market themes, predominantly some things that are happening in Nigeria, which Nigerian artists want to tackle. But we still see a lot of the same themes in Nigeria, which we're used to. Dance themes, festivals. But here we have artists who are looking more international.
And 5 experiences are also reflected in their works of art.
It works with a lot of symbols. Some of them can be traced to the people of Akan, the Akan people in Ghana, his native Ghana. You see a lot of symbols. You see some of them are from Adinkra material, and he's internationalized these symbols that are mainly used in Ghana, and we put them on the international stage. And I think that's the beauty of his art. Deep within the canvases, the large format canvases, you see the figures of men there. So he's almost talking about his own personal cosmology, his own personal nucleus and cosmic universe. So that's what you see mainly in his work, which he calls a microcosm series.
When you get tired of hearing your own name, then we'll change our story. Gilda, the ultimate.
Still ahead on the news at 10. Tens of thousands of Ukrainian protesters defy new laws. That's in Florence. Please stay with us.